So most people who talk about the idea of discipline are usually talking about it for two reasons: productivity in a career, making more money, etc., or making their body look better, going to the gym, eating better, what have you. And the main message that I want to carry through is that discipline is so much more valuable than that. Though I work out all the time, I eat pretty well, I do care about my body. My body looks pretty good in my opinion. And I do not make any money at all, but I do concede that it is nice to have money. I have had money before, and right now I am broke as fuck. And I can tell you that having money was a lot better than being broke. But discipline extends far beyond these things. Let me give you an example. I, in the past, had horrible mental health. I had major depressive episodes from the time that I was 16 actually, from then to like 21. And I have many different levers that I pull on to make my mental health as good as humanly possible. And it has helped me tremendously. One of these things is a sleep schedule. Very basic. Going to sleep at the same time every night and getting up at the same time every morning is one of the most proven pieces of evidence, one of the most proven levers to have a stable mental health. This takes discipline. It takes self-control. I prefer to use the term self-control. It takes self-control to maintain a sleep schedule, especially if you are kind of a night owl and you like to stay up really late, though I don't know if that's actually a problem for some cases. I do think it's actually good to be a night owl, but that's a whole different conversation. Maintaining the same sleep time every night and getting up at the same time every morning, making sure you get enough sleep and everything like that, is tremendously important. And it's hard. It's hard to do. It's hard to have the self-control to do that shit. That is so much more valuable to me than having money or having a body that looks good. Although I do consider those to be important things for me. There's countless other examples too. Here's another one. Let's say you have a really good friend of yours, and this really good friend has a girlfriend or even a wife that you find attractive or something. And this girl wants to sleep with you or whatever. This has never happened to me, by the way. I just want to make that clear. This is a hypothetical. And you feel a bit tempted by this, and you didn't think you would end up in this situation. But you value your friendship more than you value this romantic encounter. And a cop just drove past me while I'm talking on my phone, and I had to use my discipline to move my phone back down so that he couldn't see it. That was a joke. I didn't really have to use discipline to do that. But you might have to use discipline if you are horny enough. This is a fucking horrible example, but you might have to use discipline if you're horny enough to be like, listen, no, this is my very good friend. I am not sleeping with you. And yeah, that was a shitty example. But then also being a good family member. Like my nieces and nephews, sometimes I'll be kind of tired and I'll be around my nieces and nephews and they want to play. They're very young. And they want to play a game or something, and I'm just exhausted, but I do it anyway. And then I end up having a really good time, having a way better time than if I just sat around. And then that makes my relationship with them better, which is one of the most valuable things in life, is having good relationships. You see where I'm going with this? If you're religious and you want to get more in touch with your spirituality, it might be of use to have discipline so that you make sure you're always going to mass or what, I don't know what, if you do your call to prayer every 5 times a day if you are a Muslim person, whatever religion you practice. If you meditate, if you want to have a meditation practice to be more relaxed and more calm in your everyday life, or be more focused, spiritual, that takes discipline. A lot of things, most things that are valuable in life require some kind of self-control. Now, here's the thing that people do talk about, but it's not talked about enough. Yes, discipline is important, but the goal is to have to use as little discipline as possible. That's the goal. And I'll give you an example for this. You want to exercise more so that you feel better, you look better, you're happier. Exercise is just a very good thing. Nobody really disagrees about that, no matter what form. I mean, they disagree about what forms of exercise you should do, but whatever. You could go for a run. You could go for a grueling 1 hour long run to get some exercise in. Or you could go play basketball or pickleball or tennis or squash. I don't know why I'm thinking about these arcane sports, but you could go do something fun instead. You could go skiing. You could go rowing, whatever you like. And then you don't have to run, because running fucking sucks, unless you're one of those weirdos who enjoys running for some reason. So if you do a sport that you like, you don't have to use your discipline. And then your life is actually more enjoyable as well. You're just winning on all fronts, because at the end of the day, the very act of doing something that you don't want to do is just kind of unenjoyable. You want to live as enjoyable of a life as possible. Yes, you want it to be valuable and you want to have strength, but that doesn't mean that you always have to be doing things that you don't want to do. So that's why I like to use the term self-control, because discipline is sort of the idea of doing things, being able to do things that you don't necessarily want to do. But self-control is just making sure that you do the things you need to do no matter what. And this extends beyond exercise as well, I'm sure you can imagine. Let's give you another example, like diet. Let's say you want to get on a pretty decent new diet, a nutritious diet, and you tell yourself, all right, I'm only going to eat salad and bland chicken and white rice or brown rice or whatever you think is healthy, and you just eat boring ass food for the rest of your life. That takes an incredible amount of discipline. It sucks. Or you could say to yourself, okay, how do I prepare vegetables in a way that is actually tastes good? And one of the ways you can do that is going to Chipotle. You can get a Chipotle bowl with romaine lettuce and fajita vegetables and salsa, which has a considerable amount of vegetables. You can get like 5 to 10 servings a day of vegetables. You can get protein from chicken or steak. You can get complex carbohydrates from beans and brown rice. And it tastes amazing. Now, there is a considerable amount of sodium content in that, but that's a whole other fucking discussion. You get what I mean. You can make healthy food taste good. And the list goes on and on when it comes to, say, a sleep schedule, having a good sleep schedule for your mental health, like I was talking about. I don't just force myself to get up at a good time. I find a sleep schedule that I can stick to every day, that I can actually stick to. Because what matters the most, I've found, is getting up at the same time every day and going to sleep at the same time every night, and sleeping enough hours. 9, this is what works for me. Aside from that, I can have whatever kind of lifestyle I want. I go to sleep at like 11 p.m. and I get up at like 8 a.m. That's not incredibly extreme. That's not as extreme as a guy like fucking Jocko Willink, who's a fucking cool guy. He's a cool dude. He gets up at 4 in the morning. He gets up at 4 in the morning every day, 4:30. And he goes to sleep at like 11. He sleeps like 6 hours. He says that's all he needs. If that's all he needs, that's great. If it works for him, awesome. You don't have to be like that guy. You can also, it really helps to get bright light in the morning because that anchors your circadian rhythm. It makes it way easier to fall asleep at night and get up in the morning. Bro, you should have used your discipline to not drive like such a fucking dickhead. They weren't even doing that bad. Okay, so you see where I'm going with this. And then if you have darkness, if you are in the dark for about 2 to 3 hours before bed, or you can just I have a pair of dark red glasses that I use that block blue and green light. That helps me fall asleep at night. It helps me sleep better so that it's way easier to follow a sleep schedule. And of course, I actually have to use discipline to do both of those things, or what I like to refer to as self-control, because I make it as easy as possible to do those things. You see, I don't have to explain anymore, I feel like. You understand where I'm coming from. It's all about having a system. You want to have a system over having discipline. Every now and then you will have to use discipline. Like, I do this thing called VO2 max training, and that is a very intense form of exercise that promotes good health in a different way from lighter forms of exercise, and also weightlifting. I do 3 types of exercise because they all are good for you in different ways, it seems, according to the evidence. And VO2 max training kind of sucks, and I do it 30 minutes twice a week. It kind of sucks. It's hard to get it through an actual sport, especially because I don't have that much money, so I can't pay to go like cross-country skiing. That's a really good way to get VO2 max training in, really high intensity. I don't really have money for that right now, so I use my discipline to do that. But you want to minimize the amount of discipline you have to use. That's the goal. And I feel like I've done that pretty well. I have pretty good habits. If you want to learn more about the idea of building systems instead of having discipline, one of the best books I've ever read in my life, there's no sponsors in this video. One of the best books I've ever read in my life is called Atomic Habits by James Clear. That book changed my life immensely. It's all about that shit. It is, you gotta read it. It's on YouTube probably. You can probably just search on YouTube Atomic Habits audiobook. It'll probably come up. You probably don't have to pay for it. Yeah. That's pretty much all I wanted to say in this video. So thank you for watching. My name is Luke. This is Castles in the Air. I don't usually do self-improvement videos, but every now and then I have some advice that I want to give. That's all. Goodbye.